Life on the water. What's better than getting outside to go fishing, swimming, or kayaking? On Florida's east coast sits the Indian River Lagoon, a 156-mile-long estuary that is home to animals and humans alike. The Indian River Lagoon is home to more than 2,000 species of animals, making it North America's most diverse estuary. Besides animals, the Indian River Lagoon is also home to a very diverse microscopic community. Algae, tiny plant-like creatures invisible to the naked eye, are an extremely important part of marine ecosystems. These mighty organisms produce over 70% of the world's oxygen and are an important primary food source to many species, from snails to whales. Without algae, life on Earth would not be possible. Florida is on the front line of environmental change. Decades of rapid population growth, the loss of natural areas, and altered water flows have caused documented ecological shifts across the state. Today, coastal regions face additional challenges like warming temperatures, rising sea levels, and increasing occurrence of harmful algal blooms and other significant health threats. Harmful algal blooms are events where increased nutrients and warm temperatures cause algae to grow out of control. These algae cells produce very small amounts of toxins to protect themselves, but during a bloom event, the concentration of toxins rise to a high level and start to affect environments, human health, and economies. In the media, we see concerning headlines including fish kills, toxic water, and plant die-offs. But what is actually happening during a bloom? And how can we predict them? And how are they impacting humans that live on these waterways? 30 scientists at FAU Harbor Branch have come together to establish an epicenter of collaboration that fulfills the unmet scientific need to understand these emerging questions, predict harmful algal bloom impacts, and protect the health and safety of the Indian River Lagoon's regional population. The Florida Center of Coastal and Human Health fulfills this mission by striving to understand various topics. The first group of topics is titled Drivers and Dynamics. The goal of researchers in this group is to understand the physical and environmental factors that drive the growth, decline, and toxicity of harmful algal blooms along coastal environments, and learn how to better detect them. Scientists and engineers use satellite imaging techniques to detect areas where high abundances of algae may be present. This allows for our researchers to get large-scale information on the distribution of a variety of algal species and how that distribution changes with external factors. This data can then be combined into an integrative computer model to help researchers predict when and where harmful algal bloom events may occur. This model takes into account all sorts of chemicals and nutrients and a variety of keystone and indicator species. Our researchers also strive to understand the community structure of harmful algal blooms. The goal of this research group is to identify the species that are responsible for harmful algal blooms, as well as factors that cause their populations to shift and how they relate to other microorganisms in the Indian River Lagoon. To do this, our scientists collect water samples every month, bring them back to the lab, and catalog the different algae species in each sample. Some of the species our researchers are investigating include blue-green algae, brown tide, and red tide, all of which commonly affect Florida's waters. They have also identified an algae that produces saxitoxin and an algae that produces domoic acid. Both of these toxins affect humans through shellfish poisoning. Recently, advances in technology have allowed for better detection of microbial communities in the environment using DNA, the genetic material that makes up all living things. DNA, collected from a water sample, can not only tell researchers which types of bacteria and phytoplankton are present in the area, but also if these organisms are capable of producing toxins harmful to wildlife or people. Using these methods, researchers hope to gain baseline information on coastal microbiomes, the interactions between them, and how they relate to bloom events. Understanding ecosystem impacts is a focus of our researchers because in recent years, the Indian River Lagoon has experienced several extreme and unprecedented blooms that have impacted many different levels of the ecosystem. Deteriorating water quality, loss of seagrass, and large-scale fish kills have occurred in response to these growing bloom events. The goal of this research group is to assess how toxins enter coastal food webs and better understand ways that they are transferred through trophic levels to key species. Florida's coastal waters are home to a variety of large-bodied marine vertebrates, like sharks, sea turtles, and dolphins, that are also impacted by bloom events. Because they share similar exposure to toxins, wildlife can serve as an important indicator for public health. These animals consume many of the same fish and shellfish species, inhabit waters used for recreation, and have similar life histories as humans. Understanding how these organisms are exposed to harmful toxins and the concentrations that accumulate in their tissues can give researchers more information on how Florida residents are impacted during bloom events. The final research group aims to understand human health impacts. The research goal is to investigate the chemicals present during bloom events in the Indian River Lagoon, as well as understand how they are produced and whether they are toxic to animals or people. Microalgae can produce a suite of toxins, known as phycotoxins, that have the potential to harm humans. The diverse chemical structures of phycotoxins allow them to affect many different parts of the human body, including brain, skin, lungs, liver, stomach, and blood cells. Researchers are screening both known and newly discovered compounds extracted from water samples to assess their toxicity on different cell lines and gain a better understanding of health threats during bloom events. By determining the concentrations of these bloom toxins in coastal waters, and by building relationships with people that live in affected areas, our researchers are creating a strong foundation of baseline data and engaged stakeholders. These efforts play a key role in protecting the health of our coastal community. The final goal of the center is community outreach. Our outreach scientists share the important research being conducted at the center with public audiences through exhibits at our visitor center, guided tours, citizen science projects, festivals, and public speaking events. Our hope is that as citizens learn about the leading issues facing the Indian River Lagoon and surrounding region, they will do their part to mitigate these issues and support research. Our scientists and engineers continue to study harmful algal blooms and their connection to human and environmental health. For the most up-to-date findings, please visit our website, follow us on social media, and visit us at the Ocean Discovery Visitor Center.